I was 20 years old when God called me to preach. I didn't really know what it was to be in ministry, but I was excited about it. November 28, 1983. It's the day I got saved and the day I got called. The only thing I knew is that I wanted to tell other people about Jesus Christ. I didn't know what ministry was. I didn't know what it entailed. I didn't even know what to do it. I guess people would say I was kind of ignorance on fire, and that's saying it nicely. And then I got into ministry. It's hard. It is hard. It's difficult. It's impossible without Jesus. It's designed to only happen with Jesus. No one told me how hard it would be. No one told me how tough it would be. Nobody told me how rough it would be. I found out though. See, it's never been easy. It was not easy when Jesus did it. It wasn't easy when the apostles did it. It wasn't easy when Paul did it. Throughout generation after generation, ministry has never been something that you would say is easy. There's pain in it. It's self-inflicted at times. There are times I've had pain in my life because of decisions I made as a minister, as a pastor. I didn't handle situation. I didn't handle people right, and it hurt. It caused harm. It caused hurt. Ministry can be hazardous to your health physically, emotionally, spiritually, because you're dealing with people and because you are a person. See, there's no perfect pastor. There's no perfect way. It demands that we stay humble and holy before God if we are to have any healthy ministry whatsoever, because there's going to be hard times and there's going to be hard people. And at times, as a pastor, I blew it. I caused the pain. I caused the pain. Nobody else. I did it. I made the wrong decision. I acted poorly. I acted ungodly. And then there were times where others caused the pain. They didn't care what my position was. They didn't care what my calling was. They didn't understand biblical authority. I just became a target because of something I said. It might have been right. It could have been biblical. It could have been holy. It could have been righteous. But they didn't like it. And they chose not to attack the problem, but to attack me. I know that pain of being attacked by others. I know the pain of trying to do something the right way and it not going right. I know what it is to have good intentions, but not see it come into fruition. I know what it is to speak the right thing at the wrong time and to speak the wrong thing at the right time. I know what it is to deal with tough circumstances and do what you think is right and have others just absolutely attack it because of what they perceived and what they knew. Not knowing what you knew about others and all things, but just based on what they knew and they heard, and it's painful. It's harmful. And there's no way you can explain it to anybody else. When you're in the ministry, it's almost like you're on this island. You don't want to be on the island, but you're put there. And God put you there. And it's painful, it's lonely, and it's heavy. Ministry's hard. But then some of the greatest days of my life have been in ministry. I've had the privilege to go places and meet people that I would have never ever met unless I was in the ministry. Africa, India, Panama, Argentina, Bolivia, so many places to meet so many incredible people. Iraq, missionaries that have given everything to do that which God called them to do. People that had no right to joy, being full of joy. I've had the honor of being beside couples married for 50 years, 60 years, and I've watched them celebrate their love and their loyalty to one another. I've also been there by their bed when they were saying goodbye or see you again as one passed from this world to the next. I saw the tears in their eyes, but I also saw the joy in their heart that they had that life with that person and God had blessed them there. I've been there when a parent has lost a child. I've been there when a child has lost a parent. Sacred times, hurtful times, times in which I saw God show up and do only what God could do. I know calling it a privilege doesn't sound right, but the fact that God would use me in those times of pain, those times of sorrow, to bring some comfort that only God could bring, not me, but God, because I didn't have the words to say. I didn't have any reason to the irrational things that were happening at that time. But just being there, encouraging, loving on them, not because I was perfect, but because Jesus is. Ministry's hard, but it's not without pleasure and it's not without joy. You know, we're coming into Pastor Appreciation Month, and here's what I would say. There's much out there that talks about how hard ministry is and all the things that pastors go through and people in ministry feel. And here's what I want you to know. Don't pity people in ministry. Partner with them. So for Pastor Appreciation Month, what you can best do for your pastor is to participate with him. Pray with him. Come alongside him. Encourage him. Think about it. The one who created the universe has called us not because we're talented, not because we're gifted, not because we have anything to offer anyone, but because he's God and can do anything with anyone who will completely trust him. That's God. So I want to encourage you, Pastor. I know it's hard. I know it can be lonely. I know it can be desperate. And I know it can be despairing. But never doubt for a second that God's not paying attention to your life. The one who counts the hairs on your head knows exactly where you are, the circumstance you're in, and every need you have. Your approval will be of God. You may not get the applause of man. You may not get the financial security or recognition from your church during this appreciation time. And I want to encourage every person listening. Now I want you to appreciate your pastor. Be grateful that men and women are called of God to serve. And Pastor, you will not save one soul, but God may use you to save as many as he can through you. You're not the Savior of those people. It's not your church. It's his church. So trust him that God would do whatever God can do in the place you are. And trust him. Pastor, you're not alone. Find others in the ministry. We're comrades in arms. We're not competitors. So find pastors, join them in your area, pray for one another, seek counsel from one another, enjoy one another, but quit fighting one another. Ministry's hard, but one day we will stand before God. And as shepherds, we'll give an account of this thing called the calling on our life before him. And there'll be a crown. And so you minister for the reward of God. Men may never understand your calling. Men may never understand your accountability, but you must never doubt it. You're not alone. You're not alone. There's a God in heaven who calls you and who knows where you are. Don't hesitate to call on him. So, Pastor, I appreciate you. I'm proud to serve with you. God bless you.